what's best for the patient is best for business. I got to share this with you guys. It is the core of everything I do. It is the core of what makes my business and what I do different. I saw someone, I get friends, family members, colleagues, they'll share other people doing front desk work with me frequently, right? Hey, have you heard of this person? And I always love reading about and engaging with people and seeing about what they're selling versus what I'm selling. And possibly, how are we doing the same things? And something I frequently see with most front desk people out there, and this story is how I got here, and you want to know how they got to what they're doing, right? So again, this led me, as I was looking at some other front desk companies yesterday, this led me to go, it's really about this phrase, this mission I'm on. And the front desk person I looked up yesterday, right? I see all this stuff, why your front desk is so important, why you must train your front desk, why your front desk is blah, blah, blah. And I click on the lead and it's a billing company. By the way, I got zero issues with that. But the context of what I want to talk to you today about what I do is important as shit for anybody that you're going to connect with to work with. Where are you coming from? What is the context of your work? And if the context is about getting information entered properly on the first phone call, cool. But that's not really why your front desk is important, right? Front desk is important because what's best for the patient is best for the business, right? So the focus with that example I just gave you is on billing, is actually on the business side of it and not the patient. That's how this story started. There was a phrase floating around for a while. I've seen it less and less over the years. Maybe I'm looking for it less, but it went like this, almost verbatim. It was, what's best for the business is not always best for the patient. So it was almost exactly the opposite. What's best for the business is not always best for the patients. And it came out heavily during a lot of the low back pain research, and the researchers and the academias and everybody was always sharing how when business principles don't align with what the patient needs, and you can see where we're going already, that really it's not good for anybody. Patients don't get better, yet business does well. And it was like, wow, we got a problem here, Houston. This is healthcare, right? We're not selling books. We're not selling toasters. We're not selling shoes. This is healthcare. This is people's health. It's their life. It's their well-being. So there has to be this alignment. And finally, one year, about 4 years ago, I heard it at a conference. I was on a panel and someone said it on the panel and I got totally triggered. And I always get triggered when I saw it. And then after the panel on that night, I was thinking, man, I got to work through this shit, right? I got to figure out, right? I get triggered by this. I get it, but I believe I'm part of the solution and I can't verbalize how I'm part of a solution for this thing. So long story short, one day I said, holy shit, it's just fucking backwards. That's the only problem. Again, let me tell you how it was said that would trigger me. What's best for the business is not always best for the patient. I then woke up one day and thought, holy shit, it's backwards. And what it truly is what's best for the patient is best for the business. And I wrote it down and then I tried to disprove it, right? All over. And I was like, shit, is it right 100% of the time? I'd say it's right 99.9% of the time. So I went, you know what? This is the approach. And I started using that and I started writing it down because what I looked at was the work I was doing. By the way, again, the other companies doing billing stuff and making sure all that shit works for you. That's cool. That's cool. I got no issue with that. I'm just, again, make sure you understand what you're signing up for. And if you want to engage, right, in a true business that is focused on their client, right, their patient, their customer, then you've got to take this mindset of what's best for the patient is best for business. What's really funny, what's best for the client is best for business. Everybody go, fuck yeah. What's best for the customer is best for business. You go, fuck yeah. What's best for the patient is best for business. You're like, hold up. Wait, you put that word patient and business in the same sentence. And then everybody gets all uptight. I'm like, well, I love this. There's no way to quicker kill a conversation in healthcare about someone who's pushing back on business than asking them if they want to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Would you like to get paid for what you do? Would you like to, right, have some money in the bank for what you do? Would you like to be happy with what you do? Right? Then it's a fucking business and we're going to treat it that way. Right? And this is now I want to take the next step. So simple enough, short story, but it took me about 4 years to get there. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's on the wall here. So I'm looking at it all day long. What I'm saying, what I'm practicing, what I'm coaching someone on, is this actually best for the person that they're serving? Always. That's always the reflection. That's always the work. I type stuff up. I create content, help, whatever it is, write a blog post, do a podcast. And I say, is this good for the person being served? If yes, continue. If no, reevaluate. And I had a great call with a team last night. A bunch of people on a call wanted to know how I could help their company. And we started to look at business metrics of success. I said business. And when I started to share back these business metrics of success, I made sure they stopped. There were 4 of them. I made sure they stopped. And I said, now you notice those all have something in common. They're actually patience measures of success. And then I went through and told them how metrics like units billed and visits and things like that have nothing to do with patient success. They're metrics you track in the business, but they're not key performance indicators. They're not key business metrics. If you're truly focused on that person in your clinic that you can serve from your community, then you will be measuring their success in a lot of the same way that you will measure your team's success. So everything I do, again, even when I give people business metrics of success, this is why when I first started doing this work and everybody's measuring visits, and I'm like, there's something wrong here, man. Visits, it felt the same way as that other statement. What's best for the business is not always best for the patient. I give you visits. I give you units billed. If you're doing what's best for the patient, that shit falls into place. That's a result. That's a result of the work done. It's not the cause. We make it a cause. We focus on that further upstream, then that's the cause that causes whatever positive effects. I'm like, there's no positive effects from that. Over treatment, over billing. Focus on billing, not on the person we're serving. Yeah. So, I mean, all this stuff gets broken down in my world by what's best for the patient. Completed plans of care, drop off, first visit arrival. My whole 10-point checklist is all things that have to do with serving the person. Some of it says, did you collect the pertinent data? The pertinent data is the things that you need to get them entered into your EMR to get them scheduled. Because why? Because they called to get scheduled. Okay. So that's a step in a process of what? Of patient success. But we don't collect the data because we got to put it in the EMR. We collect the data because it's what we need to activate a case to get someone scheduled who just called to get someone scheduled. This may sound oversimplified. This may sound duh to everybody. It doesn't happen. It's not in practice. I do secret callers. I work with a lot of these companies, right? And I'm telling you that this focus is what, again, no healthcare books back there, all successful businesses, sales books, marketing books, In-N-Out Burger, Amazon, all of it. They all did 3 things. And I want to share with you what you need to do to create patient success so that you can have business success. And it's the commonality across all the successful businesses that I've ever read about. And it could be a small store in your community. You'll know that they have figured this stuff out. Number 1, who can you serve in your community? Now, what's interesting about that is you could go down this path of AKA whose insurance are you contracted with in your community? And I'd go, ooh, that's not patient success, my friends. So when I do secret callers and people ask me within the first 3 questions, which is probably greater than 80% of all the secret callers I do, even though I never reference insurance, is they ask me, what insurance do I have? Sorry, folks, not part of patient success. We're going to ask that at the end of the phone call after we learn everything to determine first what? If we are the right fit for that person on the other end of the phone. Because if we're not the right fit for them, who the fuck cares if you take your insurance? Because you're going to waste their time, money, and energy. And it was never about patient success. It was about, are we contracted with your insurance? Think about that for a second. And I'm hoping that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. You don't ask insurance first because doesn't matter until you make sure you're the right fit for the person. What's that mean? That you can create success for them. Then we find out about payment. I'm not saying you blow it off. I'm saying you don't fucking make it a top priority, because patient success isn't always about being contracted. And again, step number one of a successful business is determine who in your community you can serve. And if you believe you can only serve those people who have insurances that you're contracted with, you're not running a healthcare business. You want to know what you're running? You're running a billing company. Number two that all successful businesses do is they understand the service to be delivered to that person that they can serve best. And I don't think it's very difficult for most of us to do that, because we don't have a lot of services, right? Because the service is not dry needling, it's not Ultra G, it's not manual therapy, right? Because anybody can deliver that. So you got to figure out what makes you unique, what makes you different, that you can deliver to the people in your community that you want to serve, that you can serve. Right? That's number two. Number three is you understand their life cycle within your company. Every successful business understands everybody's physical and emotional journey within their business. Walking into a McDonald's is completely different than walking into an In-N-Out Burger, and both of them have set that up perfectly to fit their ideal clients. One of the things, I love this example, one of the things McDonald's is selling is In-N-Out fast. That's funny, because I'm going to use In-N-Out Burger. This is funny because is the speed, right? McDonald's knows it's families, it's this or that. They don't want to keep people standing around with kids screaming, whatever, right? That's why they have Happy Meals and stuff. So they're going to move you in and out, whether it's the drive-through or whether you go inside. It's speed, it's efficiency. If you show up literally at In-N-Out Burger and expect to get in and out there fast, you will be disappointed 100% of the time. I've waited longer at In-N-Out Burger for my order than probably some restaurants. So, right, McDonald's is selling speed of the transaction. You come in, you get out. In-N-Out Burger is not selling that at all. Also, the other thing you'll notice when you walk inside of a McDonald's is, again, it's set up to get in and out. You can't see, all you can see is the fry. And I think it's even less these days. I haven't been in one in a while. You see the fry machine and like the milkshake machine. You can't see anything else. You can't see the kitchen, right? Maybe you see some eyes. I remember growing up, you could always see everybody behind the counter. Walk into an In-N-Out Burger, full shot, full kitchen. You drive through the drive-through, it's like going through a car wash. You can see everybody in the kitchen. Walk into it, you can see everybody in the kitchen. McDonald's, no, right? So again, part of what In-N-Out Burger is selling is the freshness. They have no freezers. They want you to see the work being done for you. Something tells me, I'm saying this tongue in cheek, McDonald's doesn't want you to see what's going on behind in the kitchen. But again, what's important to their customers. And they've set it up that way. Yeah, dude, try to get into fucking In-N-Out Burger in LA. Thanks, Steven. It's so true, dude. Right. You go to McDonald's for lunch. Actually, you drive over to In-N-Out, you see 5 cars in the drive-thru and you're like, screw it. And you drive over to McDonald's because you know you'll move through. So again, who can you serve best in your community? What are you going to serve them with? What is that service? And again, think about it. McDonald's is not selling burgers. In-N-Out Burger is not selling burgers, right? They're selling, right, a service, right? And once you figure that out, what your ideal client wants, then boom, you understand the life cycle in your business. Again, right? The marketing, the advertising, the physical appearance, the app ordering, the online ordering, the experience inside, outside, how they're greeted, the look, that's the other thing. If you walk into McDonald's and then just, if you walk into McDonald's, look around and walk out, then walk into an In-N-Out Burger, the second thing you'll notice smack dab is, wow, all these things on the McDonald's menu, going In-N-Out Burger, you're like, that's it, right? So how do you set that up? How do you make it easy for people to move through? The beauty is In-N-Out Burger makes it easy for people to move through. They've got this double drive-through line, and it usually can accommodate more cars. So again, they've understood their patient life cycle. They understand that people are going to wait longer, even when they're in the car. So how do we make that happen? right? How do we make that comfortable? That's why I like the fact they let you look in, because I swear to God, most of the time when you're waiting in line, you're just watching, right? Things go on. That freaking potato French fryer thing, right? And you don't realize how long you've been waiting. McDonald's, no, right? You order half the time, man, half the time in McDonald's, the order's there by the time I'm getting my change, right? So stuff's moving, right? In-N-Out Burger, that never happens. So again, let's go back to how do we make sure that what's best for the patient is best for the business, is we identify who we can serve best in our community. We understand what the services we will deliver. And then the big one, man, this is missing. I just wrote an article on this morning before I got on here, and it's actually in my Facebook feed. The example of this is understanding this patient's journey within your business is key. I think I spoke to this last week or 2 weeks ago with the video. So if you are creating systems for billing, if you are creating systems for your providers, and you're doing it without an understanding of the touch points within your business, you are wasting 100% of the time, your time, money, and energy. Because if you don't understand what's going on further upstream, and you're trying to create this system, right? This is your business as an ecosystem. If you're trying to create this system and tactics within the ecosystem without understanding the impact of upstream and downstream, you are going to fail. And by fail, I mean, it's not going to work. You're going to have to keep coming back, keep coming back. Now, mind you, even if you understand your business, you create it, it may fail the first time, but you know exactly where you need to go to solve that problem. In the other ecosystem, you're just like, I don't know what to do next. Right? I used this example yesterday. I was talking to someone, cancel rate, right? I yelled at my physios and providers for 10 years about cancel rates. I think that's a perfect example until I finally understood my patient's life cycle and the ecosystem of my business. I literally, after 10 years, lowered my cancel rate in half in 3 months. I've shared this story a million times, and I just did this recently for another clinic. After 10 years of sitting at like 14%, I changed it within 3 months after I mapped out my patient's life cycle, after I understood the ecosystem and the impact that what we were doing before they arrived actually influenced downstream, right? When they arrived, greater than anything else I could do. So this understanding, right, this number 3 of your patient life cycle makes you far more efficient in growing and scaling up your business. So if you know who you're going to serve in your community, who can you best serve? If you know the service you're going to deliver to them, and you then understand their journey within your business, then you can always do what's best for the patient. And if you're doing what's best for the patient, the business will thrive and strive and grow and scale. Actually, scaling comes from understanding the life cycle so you can do it. But yeah, it'll scale. If you don't fully embrace this, what's best for the patient is best for the business, or you say it and you don't live it, then you end up, again, creating incentives and creating a business built around what's best for the business. Visits, units billed, right? You still, again, I'll say this again, you need to measure all these things and you need to track these things, but you don't incentivize them and you don't focus on them, because units billed and visits are a result. I said this before, I'll say it again. Units billed and visits are a result. If you focus on patient success, then the result will be more visits. If you focus on what's best for the patient and patient success, then the billing and the revenue falls into place. Another great example of this is clinics I've helped go from in-network to out-of-network. Hey, Jerry, we're looking on going out of network with our Blue Cross plan. I'm going to make numbers up here, right? All right, how much of your business is that? It's about 11%. I'm like, great place to start. Let's start with these people, right? Let's use this as a study, as a pilot study. Let's make the changes upstream so that as you go out of network with more or need to go out of network, you will have all the systems in place. What do you have to do first? Understand your patient's life cycle, right? And all those other great things. So then we go in, right? And first thing everybody says is, oh my God, I can't afford to lose any patients. I'm like, hold up. You were getting $75. I'm going to make numbers up. You were getting $75 a patient. Yeah. So if we make your cash rate 150, you could actually afford to lose 50% of your current client base and still have the same exact revenue stream for 50% less work. We then sit through the dead air. It's interesting because most people, they think about other stuff, but they never get to that. I'm like, let's just start there. We're not looking for 100%. And this is the problem earlier with, if we're focusing on payer source and contracted and non-contracted, the only thing that matters is you're in network. So in your world, the only people who schedule are contracted and network people. And I'm like, there are actually people in your community who will schedule with you if you make it about them and not the insurance, and they'll pay you more. There's no risk. There's no risk. You're going out of network. What else are you going to do? So again, this mindset of shifting to out of network goes from focusing on the insurance and just everything about being contracted and going, no, let's talk about the person and then find out how much money they'll pay. That's why they're successful businesses, my friends. A successful business can grow and scale and has profit. What's patient success? I got a 10-point checklist for that. What's business success? Got a 3-point checklist for that. And I didn't make it up. I made up the patient success checklist. I didn't create business success. Everybody else did the hard work, man. One of the best books I got in there was a last day keynote from PPS about 4 years ago. Gentleman talking about execution, implementation and execution. It was awesome because I had already come up with what's best for the patient was best for the business. And his book was like the last nail in the coffin. So it really got me focused into what business metrics equate to patient success. That's where I started going, visits don't matter. Units billed don't matter to patient success. And if I have my team focused on units billed and visits, then I'm not moving towards patient success. See where this is all going. By the way, the burnout and the churn of your staff is because of this right here. 110%. We can go all these philosophical, we can talk about acknowledgement, we can talk about all this. Dropping people, employees into a business that's focused on the wrong business metrics that deals with humans is going to fucking churn and burn them out. If we step this back and the whole team knows what patient success looks like and they know their role in delivering patient success, and you can show them how their key performance indicators feed into patient success, business success, team success, individual success. This is the formula. Let me just clarify at the end of this that there is absolutely no problem with being contracted in network, out of network. None of these things matter. I use that as an example because people focus on the wrong things. Hey, I want to get scheduled. What insurance do you have? I'm like, you're focused on the wrong thing. That's that last. How do you get paid is how you get paid. Dealing with I have some new clients currently. They're in network contracts are better than most people are collecting for out of network stuff. Right? I just ask them, what's your current process, right? And we go through it and we build around that. And again, we're not going to make it about the insurance, right? Cool, you're getting paid. Because that's the beauty of this whole thing. It's a business. All this front end work, all the front desk work, all this efficiency of your business is business work. It's a sales conversation. It's a retention conversation. It's a referral conversation. It's a marketing conversation, while all at the same time creating patient success. It's a business built around patient success. Businesses have marketing, sales, and retention. So we overlay all that into your patient's life cycle to create success for your client, customer, patient. It's that simple. So we call things what they are. They're marketing, they're sales. And then we get everybody on the team focused in the same place, on the client, not the fucking insurance, right? How'd this all start? Front desk. Oh, your front desk is so important for ... collecting insurance information the first time. Awesome. No, they're not. You'd be surprised. The groups I work with where we don't focus on insurance, how much all the billing problems disappear and how much all the collections problems disappear. Because why? Because we focus on the person, and magically it all comes together. I took it from there, put it into my own business. The last 15 years, now I help other businesses, right? And I'm just out here to tell you that if you will do what's best for the patient, your business will be insanely successful. In 2021, the scarcity mindset is again just taken over. There's so many opportunities. There's so many places to go. And if you think we have too many PTs out there, you're crazy. We don't have enough PTs to serve everybody. And if you don't think they'll get paid, right? Again, you guys have heard the story. I'm helping a guy set up a clinic that treats pro bono 40% of every month. And he gets paid because his wife wants him. Right. That's why he contacted me. He's like, it was a great idea. It was going well. It all sounded good, but I got no paycheck. I'm like, okay. And we run it like a business. And we run a business that delivers 40% pro bono. Because why? He's focused on the patient. And regardless of payer source, he treats everybody the same. And magically, it all flows and falls into space. That's probably the best damn case study for anything and anybody I've ever worked with. He treats everybody the same at the top of the funnel as they come into their business. Because you got to know if someone's going to be paying or not early on. That's cool. Nope, no problem. Because the paying side runs the no charge side. So he's got to be tracking all that like a business. He's got to know his revenue per visit. He's got to know his cost. If he doesn't know his cost per visit, every pro bono person I've ever run across in my world, I'm not saying they're not out there, in my world, they flamed out because they refuse to acknowledge the business side. They want to do what's best for the patient without an understanding of the business. I'm like, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't separate them. And if you think healthcare got here because of their focus on business, I'd say nope. It was because they said what's best for the business is best for the patient. So I think that's the perfect spot to end, right? So we circle all the way back to the beginning, how this journey started, because I was not comfortable with the phrase, what's best for the business is best for the patient. So this is the premise. This is the mission of everything I do. Everything you see on YouTube flows from there. Every podcast you listen to, every phone call I've been on, every client I've worked with, we start with what's best for the patient. All right. Cheers all.